Also hit that. I don't hit.
Welcome back to the program. Shortly we'll be talking about the hunt for votes as NASA and Jubilee continue to go around the country selling their agenda. Before that, let me read our SMS feedback. Thank you those of you who sent in your SMSs. You can keep doing so on 22422. Let me see here. You don't give us your name, but you say Honorable Wamalwa should stop dragging Uhuru over this. We are tired of his blood arguments. But Lynette from Turbo says, hey, Honorable Chris, you are saying only facts. The president is overall. One word from him and SRC will implement it. Think about the poor and save lives. And finally, Kiprono from Kericho says, it is high time Luya leaders offered credible leadership instead of too much talk, crying and blame game. Gunjiri, help Honorable Wamalwa. So that is those are some of your feedback, and Honorable Gunjiri said is praying for Honorable Wamalwa. Even as the show continues, we shall interrogate the results of those prayers at the end of the program. Now, before we talk about hunt for votes, there was a rather worrying comment by Uasin Gishu Governor Honorable Jackson Mandago. Let's listen to his comment and then have reaction from my panel here after that. And we can put some volume on that.
Kwa miamoja jenda kwa nini hata ile ingine taambia raia mwini hata mkutumi na saa moja inaenda. Kwani ni lazima tukue na serikali? Vitisho hatutisho. Mimi nataka kuambia Moyo na Chomba na county commander ya polisi pamoja na kiongozi wao Nakuru Kimani Ngujiri kuja Sonya Mungiki yako rudisha na kitu.
Well, 62 days and counting to the elections. Are those the kind of comments that we want to be spread out across the country? I want to give my panel here a chance to respond to them. And because Honorable Gunjiri has been mentioned in that, I'll allow him to be the first to respond.
Well, I would say it is very, very sad for a leader who is saying that he is a governor and he can use such statement on the tribal line. And I don't know how I'm coming in on that. But I know him because he wants to be elected on the riding on the tribal line. That's what he wants, dividing people. And I think he's very happy when people are fighting, because when he's mentioning me and I come from Nakuru and I should go and take my Mungiki, I don't have Mungiki myself. But what he knows, what he wants, I know him. He is trying now to extend the tribalism up to Nakuru. I think that is the motive he has. So next time now he extends that thing up to the central. That's what he wants. But I think I will not respond him much on that, because I can also take action to take him in the court. But for such a person who doesn't understand what he is doing, reading on the tribal line, I should not get involved on that. Okay. I will just pray for him as I have done to my brother.
Wow.
He will change.
Lots of prayers in the studio today. Honorable Wamalwa,
I think
first of all, do you commend? Condemn?
First of all, I want to condemn any utterances that maybe can divide Kenyans on tribal lines or religious lines. I come from Trans Nzoia, and we are neighboring with Uasin Gishu. In terms of the distribution, it is actually cosmopolitan. It's like a small Kenya. We have all the 42 tribes there. When you go to Uasin Gishu, you will find every tribe there. Luyas, Kikuyus, name them. The same way it comes to Trans Nzoia. And Uasin Gishu, going as per 207, it's a very vulnerable area. It's been like an epicenter. You know, most of the issues we had at the ICC, the Kiamba issue, it came from Uasin Gishu. So at a time like this, when we're going towards elections, I think we call upon the leaders to desist any utterance that can be able to divide Kenyans on tribal lines, particularly in areas which are very vulnerable. Areas like Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia, and all that. So it's unfortunate what the governor said. And I didn't know that Honorable Gunjiri is the leader of Mungiki. So it's the hardest time he should tell us. Because you are told, go and pick your Mungiki, take it to Laikipia. I think now you are on national TV.
I think he has
it's the highest time now. You can be able to
on that. You
tell us.
You openly, even I don't know what is Mungiki. Get me on the clips when I'm condemning those people, because it's a group of people who does bad things. But you want to blunt. You know, most of many people politically, if they want to condemn Kikuyu, they call them Mungiki. In general, all of them. But I believe even you are in your place, there's a group of people, of young people who does bad things. You will go in Kisi. But we cannot call Kisi the name of those people. Those are criminals. Those are groups which we don't agree with it as Kenyans, all of us. And I've been fighting them. So just try now to bring in general. You see, if you check his statement properly, he's not talking about Mungiki, he's talking about the tribe of Kikuyu. putting them in that name that they are Mungeki. That's what he's trying to do, and which is very bad. Let me tell you. And you are my friend, you come my place. And I'm here outside with my car. My security is Simiu. Simiu comes from Bungoma. If you come in my garden, in my home, in Nakuru, he is a lawyer. If you come in my house, the person who take care, he is a lawyer. If you come in my house, the person who take care of my children, he is a lawyer. I like them. And I work with them because I respect them. They know their job and they respect their job. Why am I not employing Kikuyu? Because everybody has his own gift of doing things. But now, if we start doing that, or when I'm in the car, I start talking bad about lawyers, then now, what am I doing? The person who takes care for me for security is a lawyer. So I think in those utterance statements, we should not go in that line. That line will not really help us at all. At all. And I'm not Mungeke, and I've never been a leader of Mungeke, and people knows it have been there. And also Mungeke is people who we can talk about them if they have done something wrong, but not put in general. And he's pulling me from Nakuru so that I can respond, so that now I can be able to extend, dragging Kikuyus in this issue. And I'm not going to be part and parcel for that.
Thank you for that, His Excellency. Monyo?
It's extremely unfortunate at this point in time when we are seen to be picking on hate speech or rumor mongering or making statements that would border into insecurity. We live in a very short memory as Kenyans, and we might have forgotten that the epicenter of the challenges of 2007-2008 was Uasin Gishu. And the leaders in Uasin Gishu should not want it repeated. And we have seen challenges like when they were chasing away the vice chancellor from the university because he's not that. You can hear now saying Kimani Ngujiri to pick his Mungiki and take them to Laikipia, not even to Nakuru. So you wonder what has Kimani got to do with Laikipia. And I think we should be responsible leaders again, and I say this: let's not talk hate speech.
Yes.
Where we live in cosmopolitan rural towns of Eldoret, Bungoma, Kakamega, you'll find people of all tribes. Let's live harmoniously. Let's embrace each other. We are brothers. It's only 62 days to go. We determine who will be the new leader, and we move on for 5 years. It's an exercise that will be repeated every 5 years. We should never ignite this country into war, or we should never ignite this country to burn just because we want to be leaders.
Thank you.
When the country burns, would we lead?
Just a question.
Yes.
Just a very small question. Why is the institutions which are there mandated for such issues? They are playing double standard. Why is Kaparu for this? Why is the CAD for this? Already you know this is incitement and it can end with the bloodshed. Where are these institutions? Where is Kaparu? If it is me or Yuji have talked, or my brother who have talked to that, because he's a member of the parliament, he could have reached him very fast. What are they doing to save this country?
That's a good question. I hope we could have someone from the MCIC in studio to talk about that. Hopefully they'll respond today, because I think this is a topic that needs a definite reaction. Well, we just briefly talk about the hunt for votes. We mentioned it earlier, and as you can see on page, I believe it's page 5 of the Daily Nation, Uhuru takes vote hunt to Kisii and Kakamega, and there's a story about where the Jubilee is supposed to hold a series of rallies. In addition, a summary of NASA's basic conversation in Machakos. They were at the golf club yesterday. On the front page of the Standard, NASA speaks on deal that gave Raila one term. We're talking about the hunt for votes. I want to ask a question that was actually raised on Sunday during Game Plan, the show that is hosted on Sunday Live in the evening. Herman Manyora, he's a political analyst. He posed a very interesting question to those who were there. He asked, or he felt, that NASA should not spend their time talking about promises and pledges like Jubilee, talking about we'll do this, we'll do that, because they will appear to be copying Jubilee. Rather, he felt that NASA should be working on consolidating their support base. For example, in Busia, they should find a way to bring together Ojamong and Otuoma, and in other regions as well. What do you think about statements like that? He was basically telling NASA, forget about going to say tutafanya, tutafanya. Rather, go to the ground and consolidate your base, sort any fallouts that happened in nomination, so so that you know your strongholds vote as one come August 8th. How do you respond to the statement, Chris Wamalwa?
I think politics is to do with promises. Every party has its philosophic orientation. You have a policy, you have a manifesto. A manifesto is a promise. Just like a brand, if you take Coke, it's promising to satisfy you in whatever the case. So it's very unfortunate what he said, because in politics it's a promise. When I was presenting my papers to IBC, I started with Mass, which was conducted by our Bishop, Bishop Maurice Anthony Clory, the Bishop of the Kitale Diocese. And he said this: let us politicians, as you go out there, do not give false promises.
Yes.
That's what the Bishop said. Wherever I go, I don't do false promises. Secondly, he said, we do not have any other country. As you go out there to campaign, you must be peaceful. Those were the two key messages, what Bishop said. And he said this, that leadership comes from God. Whatever you do, if God has not touched you, you're not going anywhere. Those were three critical things. And I can tell you, after the sermon, I went around Kitale town. I present my papers very well. Every day I'm just saying, I'm going all the way to victory. Absolutely. And that sermon was so inspiring. And I can't go against what the Bishop said in terms of promises. So as a politician,
yes,
as any candidate, as a party, that's why we have party manifestos. You must articulate on those issues, like matters to do with education, matters to do with security,
but wouldn't you say that NASA, quote unquote, is at a disadvantage, because while Jubilee can boast of what they've done, for NASA now it's only promises? Let me tell you this: when Mwai Kibaki came to power, he came through the promise of economic recovery, because the country's GDP was in ICU. The economy was ICU. It's growing at a negative GDP. And when he came to power, he promised that revival of the economy. And it gave people hope. This guy is an economist. He's going to improve the economy. And once he improves the economy, he's going to improve the welfare of the people. Are you seeing? So you can't avoid those promises. Right now, what NASA is doing, for instance, ask everybody about the Jubilee government. They talk about that the big problem of this government has been corruption. And NASA is coming in saying, we are going to have zero tolerance to corruption. Because the issue which has been portrayed, you've seen people talk about corruption in SGR, corruption in laptops, corruption. This is the perception is there. So as you come in, you must bring hope. You must give that promise. So in politics, you can't avoid the issue of promise. So long as whatever you are going to promise, it's implementable. You are not exaggerating or you are giving false promises. So in politics, if I come, I want to improve the welfare of the people. For instance, when I came to power in my constituency, I said, I want to ensure that every primary becomes a secondary school to improve accessibility to education. This is what I've done. I've started secondary schools in regions where there were no secondary schools. And I've bought school buses. And I can't give you this platform. I cannot allow you to use this platform to campaign.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Whatever my friend said, as you try to consolidate your support,
yes,
you must give a promise.
You must give a promise. Honorable Kunjiri, let me ask you something else, but still related to what we are talking about. Let's talk about Nakuru County. And I want to know from you whether you consider Nakuru County potentially a swing area, bearing in mind both sides, Jubilee, NASA, seem to be spending quite some time there and going back every so often, in a sense, to sort of consolidate their base. How would you term Nakuru County as we get closer and closer
let me tell you,
to the election?
I'm born there myself. I've been in politics for over 30 years. Before maybe it was in nursery school, I've been in politics. And I want to tell you, if you want analysis of Nakuru, I can give you. That is a Jubilee zone. No swing vote. No swing vote at all. So those if you want to know well,
yes,
just check with MPs. We have 11 constituencies in that area, Nakuru County. And if you see, all of them, 10 are in Jubilee. So who was only one.
Who attending the NASA rallies? Who attended the NASA rally?
NASA rally,
was it,
let me tell you,
were those...
Any rally, you cannot measure with the rally, because many people want to see the sycophant and the rise these people are making. They will come being happy. Let me tell you.
No, but you can't prove.
No, I can prove. Let me tell you. Today, go in Nairobi here. If you get a mad person standing somewhere, doing funny things, even removing the cross, all of you go there. You want to see what is this? And people feel there is removing the cross. No. I'm just putting the picture. The excitement of Kenyans. If you hear a bullet, somebody has been shot. Instead of Kenyans running away, you see them going where there's bullets. So sometimes it's excitement. But when you come to the actual voting, and you'll be able to see, we have changed Nakuru. Before, we had about 16 wards. And the 16 wards, the side of TNA, sometimes back, we had about only 11 seats. The majority of the seat of councillors by that time, it was other tribes. But we have changed that. We had only, I think, 2 MCAs.
So you're basically telling me you're not afraid that those who attend the rallies could potentially listen to NASA's agenda and decide that
there's no use of arguing with my brother here. Just wait on it. There's no use of argument. We shall still come back here and discuss. But I'm telling you, in his face, I don't know. He can tell me. I saw he was fighting the governor there. Again, now he's supporting the governor. I cannot know why. He knows the politics of his area. But I'm telling you, the politics on my area, that's how it is. There it is Jubilee zone. And even if you see how the president came, and he did very well, he did not go in one place. You know, he went all around the constituencies. You know, what court does, and
this is your last comment, I'll
say, they're very good people transporting people. They're very good. Our people, and you know that, they cannot leave the Shamba, like now when it's raining, to go for a rally. It's very difficult. Let's agree on the truth. But them, they are very good in politics, coming together. You people valid from Eldoret, from where they will come there. So when I'm finishing, let me tell you this, Kenya. The president is not promising. The president is saying the actual thing. The former prime minister, I just felt very sad on him saying that within the month he will finish all the problem of Kenya.
90 days.
90 days. He will finish all the problem of Kenya. Unga, Mbua, Nini, he said that. He was in rally when he wrote his paper.
Let me simplify.
So, now let me finish. So, to me, that's a pure lie. Now, he is saying about the education. Let me tell you. Who said something in Nakuru which came in my brain properly, and he is a member of the parliament. Already we have planned for free education in secondary. We have passed the budget. Because already we know, when we say that it's free education for secondary, many people will come. So we must prepare ourselves on extending the school. And in our budget we have 45 billion so that we can start extending there. You cannot just say I dream today and it will work. It's a process.
Thank you. I'll come to you shortly because I know he needs to respond.
Yes.
Then you're next.
I want to correct what Honorable Kunjeri is saying. We have something called Rapid Results Initiative, RRI. And what our flag bearer Raila Amolo Odinga said, that within 90 days the policies are going to be in place to change the situation. So he never said that within 90 days if there's drought, that there will not be any drought. The mechanism will have been put in place. Now we'll be going to implementation. There are those indicators, there are those issues that you can be able to put policies in place. Some things are long term. Obviously you can't resolve an issue within the 90 days if it's long term. So what he had said,
not
within
today.
90 days it means,
I need to wind up.
Let me simplify what you understand. Within 90 days in terms of policy formulation, in terms of putting policies in place, we'll have put that policy in place. Fight against corruption, maybe issues to do with, for example, you said about free secondary education, we'll have brought a supplementary budget.
So you don't feel he overpromised? You feel everything he said at that rally?
No, he promised. That's a promise because you are not in the shoe. If you give us this, if we are going to win the elections within the 90 days, I'm going to do ABC. That's a promise. Jubilee government should not be giving promises. What it's supposed to be doing should be giving us a report card. Because you've been given an opportunity, you've been there. You don't need to give promises. And that's what let me finish what we are doing. And that's what I'm saying. When you talk of free secondary education, even when you look at the ODM manifesto, even before that, it was already there in terms of the free secondary education. So it's the Jubilee people who have copied. If I told they were
Let me implemented it. Let's hear from Excellency Monyo.
The ones who are the sure bearers.
Come into this debate.
Honorable Amarwa, you know how things are run. There are short-term, medium and long-term plans which are set by the government in how to work. You know Vision 2030 where we are going forward. You know what has been put into next year's budget. So there is clear indications of what will be done next year. And these guys were in government when Vision 2030 came into power. They were in government when Vision 2030 started. They were in Kibaki government, so they know what was set for short term, for medium term, and for long term. They've also seen what you guys passed in budget for next year, for this for the coming financial year.
No provision for secondary education in the budget.
It is known what will be done. Jubilee pronounced its manifesto first. So what NASA is doing is because they will not have another story to tell. They can only tell the Jubilee story in a different intonation. So Jubilee, when it gives its scorecard, last week SGR got to Nairobi, you started saying corruption. Some of you rode on the same track, on the same rail. Things have been done, but all you're saying is yes, the scorecard is said, but how do we fight the scorecard? Going forward, Honorable Amarwa, is that Jubilee will actualize its manifesto, and you have no different story.
In one word, and I literally need to wind up.
I want you to be fair because you have the Jubilee people, two of them, I'm alone. So you should give me every opportunity to respond to that.
Okay.
What I want to say, this is not the time for Jubilee to give promises. Because Kenyans had given them opportunity.
You're not giving promises.
Let him finish.
The time they should give a scorecard. I sit in Parliament, and the budget that we passed, I did not see a provision anywhere in that budget of free secondary education. It was not there, and that's why when NASA say we are going to bring free secondary education, once we go into power, immediately we are going to bring a supplementary budget. Secondly, what you need to know, which my brother has just mentioned about the issue of the SGR, NASA has not said that the railway was a bad idea. It was a good idea, and as a matter of fact, it is something which had been generated or thought about it in the Nusu Mkate government. Now Uhuru Kenyatta had come into implementation, but the challenge has been the cost of this railway. If there was any exaggeration, if it's supposed to cost this much, then it was 3 times, because we borrowed money alone from Exim Bank. Kenyans have to pay back this money. NASA has not said anywhere that they are against the railway, no. But at what cost is the challenge? The public debt at the moment, we are standing almost 4 trillion. And last time, Kibaki government, it was up to around 800 billion. We have to pay back this money. And for you to pay back this money, you must get money through taxation. And once that Kenyans are taxed, they are going to pay it higher. That's why the cost of living in this country has gone up.
I'll have to
price of unga,
this discussion now.
Shillings, absolutely.
Thank you so much. It's time to wind up. We shall continue this discussion offline and on social media as well. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be right back.